Entrepreneurship is much more than making money. It is a calling. And like every other calling, it's people-centered. According to online research, those who get into entrepreneurship only to make money are far better off staying in employment, as that is the nature of employment. Entrepreneurs are advised to get into entrepreneurship with a goal of making a difference rather than making a living. Those thinking of getting into this journey should realize that money is the reward and not the goal of entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur who is familiar with this notion is Peter Chege, who has created a niche for himself in animal feed by solving farmers' problems with advanced technology.
Before I started this, I used to manufacture animal feeds and also NPK fertilizer breeding, whereby I used to do a soil analysis, and then I formulated fertilizer based on the soil fertility, and also manufactured animal feeds. Then I started doing the hydroponics after knowing that farmers are not getting whatever they are supposed to get because of the high cost of livestock feeds and also because of rain-fed agriculture.
Peter explains to the entrepreneur what hydroponic farming entails.
Hydroponics farming means growing plants without use of soil by use of hydroponics nutrients in water. So by eliminating soil, we are able to grow, plants grow very fast because there's a lot of aeration, and also you are able to supply the actual amount of water the nutrients the plant requires. So that's why it grows very fast. We use water as a media or inert media. Inert media you can use like that one you are seeing the pumice, the inert media. You can use sawdust, you can use liver salt, you can use rice husk as an inert media, or you can use water alone without inert media. By inert media I mean this media is not going to react with fertilizer. Unlike soil, whereby the soil marries or bonds with fertilizer, so the plant uses a lot of energy to extract fertilizer, which has been compressed by the soil. So if you use inert media will not react with fertilizer. So the plant will just absorb fertilizer without any obstruction.
Hydroponics is said to greatly increase the rate of growth in plants. With the proper setup, it is said that plants can mature up to 25% times faster and produce up to 30% more than the same plants grown in soil. The fertilizer used in hydroponics is quite different, as Peter explains.
As we make the fertilizer, in fact our core business is to make those nutrients, hydroponics nutrients. So the raw materials are available, we just make the fertilizer. Hydroponics nutrients actually is the heart of hydroponics, because without that one you cannot be able to proceed. The difference is one thing, this fertilizer is very weak but modified, so that the plant just does not use energy to break the fertilizer complex. Because you see there's no soil here, you have to digest the fertilizer for the crop so that it grows very fast. And that's why you see it's growing very fast, because the fertilizer is very free ions. And also it has to be very much controlled in terms of the pH and the electroconductivity, because this fertilizer, if you don't control and they are using inert media or water, then you can burn your crops.
Some people carry the entrepreneur title so as to make a living, while others were driven to it to create change.
Currently, the challenges we are having in agriculture is water scarcity, space, people are lacking land to farm, and also because of diseases like soil-borne diseases. Hydroponics tackles those challenges, because hydroponics fodder takes only 7 days to grow. For vegetables, it takes 50% faster to grow, and also it uses for fodder it uses 1/10 of water normally used in agriculture, and for vegetables it uses 80% less water. For example, an area of 4 meters by 3 meters, you can grow fodder enough to feed 10 cows. I started a loan of 300,000 shillings. We started by doing trials. We did trials for about 4 months, doing for different farmers, especially for fodder. And then after that, then we commissioned that they started installing to the farmers. Mostly our farmers are smallholder farmers, also in large-scale farmers, because now you realize 70% of daily cows comes from smallholder farmers. So most of our farmers are smallholder farmers, and also smallholder farmers who are also growing food crops. We also target people who have a greenhouse and they have stopped growing because of soil-borne diseases like bacteria, youth, nematodes. Once we come to our greenhouse, we just convert it to hydroponics, and then you get rid of those diseases.
It is easy to underestimate how hard it is to change people's behavior and beliefs. Each interaction with a potential customer is designed to change their beliefs and preferences. Once the customer is convinced of the superiority of a product, they will naturally make a purchase. And once they've made a purchase, then that should lead to the repeat purchases in future.
The major challenge of the fodder is the cost of the unit, although we are working with the banks so that they can be able to give farmers loans so that they can be able to install the units. The other challenge would be now the confusing people this is not GMO, which is going to 7 days, something which is safe, although that's why you have already put in the training whereby the farmers come and learn how we go about it. We train farmers every day on how to grow the fodder, how to feed the animals, how to grow the crops hydroponically. Then after training, we do quotation, then we go to the farm and do installation.
Venturing into entrepreneurship is anything but easy. What sets true entrepreneurs apart from the crowd is their stamina and willingness to push through their rough times.
About 2 months, I came up with this hydroponics, but in these 2 months, I was very much discouraged because this system started in Australia in 1970. Those systems are very automated. They are automated and they have temperature control. So I had to know why I use it 21 degrees centigrade. What else can we be able to do? Because in Kenya, if you use electricity to control the temperature inside the fodder unit, it is not economical. So I came up with a way of chemically treating those trays. Those are aluminum trays. We chemically treat them so that we can grow fodder even in high temperature of even up to 30 degrees centigrade without getting a fungi. So the system becomes very cheap.
Even if a new product has significant competitive advantages, introducing it to a new market is extremely challenging. Customers need to be educated about the product's uses and benefits, which requires an investment of both time, doing research, and money.
I usually do a lot of research on different crops, because once I know I want to grow this, if it's watermelon, I have to do a try on watermelons and see the amount of the nutrients requirements, because it's different from the soil. So that's what I do. Most of them I do try and error, because this is something very new in Africa. And you might not get whatever you want unless now you do the trial, because whatever you get in the books is completely different from the field what we have realized. So it's just sometimes it's a trial, and until now we see that this thing is working.
Some advice would be to hydroponic farmers.
The advice I would give is, first of all, they come to a farm here in Kikuyu, so that to learn. You have to learn first, because in hydroponics it's very good. It has a lot of advantage, but also it is very unforgiving if you miss just one step. But once you know everything that you are able to you do whatever is supposed to be done, it really helps. What I would say is that if you have an idea, don't let someone tell you that this is not possible, because in fact initially I used to go and ask, can I be able to make the nutrients? People will say, no, this is not possible. No, if you have an idea, just push on. And I know you are going to get a solution. Otherwise, it's just a matter of commitment and patience, and everything will pay.
Peter not only sees himself as an entrepreneur, but as a solution provider too.
I think hydroponics is coming to save people who are in dry areas, because you have said it uses 1/10 of water, normally in agriculture. And also, in those dry areas, I think it's by God's blessing is where you get those inert media. So all the materials are there. And since the water is scarce and this one uses 1/10 of water, this one will be very ideal for them. And also, because those dry areas, the temperatures are very high and the light intensity is very high, which is a requirement for the crops. So you find those crops will grow faster than even in places where it's not dry.
He has a big plan for Kenyan farmers.
Future plan is actually to make sure that all Kenyans at least knows about hydroponics, and you have hydroponics at your farm. Whether you want because we have come up with a system whereby in 1 meter square you can grow 160 crops, vegetables. Like this greenhouse is 120 meters square, so you can grow 19,000 crops here if you use a vertical 6-inch PVC pipes. So in a small area, even if somebody in urban areas can be able to grow for the for their use, and also for the fodder for the livestock. If people have about 1/8 of an acre, somebody want to keep pigs, cows, how can you be able to do that? You can only be able to do that using hydroponics, because an area of 4 meters by 3 meters, I've said you can grow fodder enough to feed your 10 cows. So you just need a very small area.
If you have any comments on tonight's Entrepreneur, leave a comment on our Facebook page, KTN The Entrepreneur, or reach us on our Twitter handle, KTN The Entrepreneur. One of the most important lessons that has made me a better employer and businessman is pointing out people's strengths. I have come to learn that the praise of others may be of use in teaching us not what we are, but what we ought to be. Chris Kirubi, Kenyan industrialist and entrepreneur.
A diamond starts off from very humble beginnings. That shiny stone that many of us dream of owning was once nothing but coal. Just like the diamond's humble beginnings, many people who are thinking of venturing into entrepreneurship fail to realize that it doesn't matter where or how one begins the journey. All that matters is that one stays on course. Murang'a County is very hilly and lots of streams and rivers that originate from the Aberdare Ranges. Some of these rivers have huge waterfalls, making water readily available. Our second guest tonight is better described as a diamond in the rough who did not give up on his dream of making a success out of himself.
Kwa majina ni John Magiro wa Ngare, na kazi yenye nafanya ni ya kutoa mto stima kutoka kwa mto kutumia njia ya maji. Through using the generator, I modify them to be using water through the turbine. Mwanzo nilikuwa shuleni, hata nilikuwa nikisoma huko bado nilikuwa nafanya kazi nyingine hapa pale na pale ya kufuga zugura hivyo hata mbuzi. Ndivyo nilikuja na idea ya kuanzia mambo ya stima. Huku stima ziko bali sana.
Age did not deter this young innovator from satisfying his curiosity of what can be considered complex at his age.
Hebu niseme hiyo idea nilikuwa nayo, ilikuwa ndani yangu. That is back in standard 4. That is more than 7 or 8 years. Yeah, from that time. Yenye nilianzia kufikiria yenye dynamo huaga inatumika kwa baiskeli. Nikasema na iweza modify ndio inatumia kwa njia yangu, sio inatumia mafuta yake. Tafuta dynamo ya baiskeli, nikakuja nikaipeleka kwa mto, ilikuwa na turbine yenye nilikuwa nimetengeneza ya bao. Sasa yenye ilikuwa inazunguzwa na maji, bado inazunguza hiyo dynamo alafu inatoa 12 volt. Sasa stima yenye inapeana inakuaga 600 volt. Sasa nimeiweka standard inakuaga 220 volt yenye huaga wanatumia.
People surrounding John wanted to know what part they can play in his creative genius.
Sasa wateja wangu niseme ni wengi, ya more than that 5 now. Sasa wenye wako karibu na wenye wako mbali, that is more than now 5 kilometers.
Some people are blessed with God-given talents and skills, and John is amongst this list.
Baada hebu niseme ya kwamba sijaenda shuleni kusomea mambo ya stima, maybe it is only secondary kwenye tulikuwa tunatumia physics hapa na pale, lakini sio sana. Hiyo kipawa iko ndani yangu. Power ikitoka huko kwa mto, direct inakujaga mpaka huko nyumbani. Sasa ikikuja huko nyumbani kuna control room yenye huaga hiyo ikikuja kutoka huko kwa mto inakuja nyumbani. Pale kwa kuna sauti pande mwingine kama pande ile mwingine huaga inajikata hapo. Sasa huko kuna kuaga kuna stima, ukikuwa any problem. Hata nikitaka kuongeza at least 400 volt, kukiwa kuna mtu anafanya kazi ya kuchomelea, huaga na ongezea hapo. Nikitaka ku reduce mpaka hiyo inaona dim, reduce hapo bado.
Entrepreneurs are advised to be ready to face skeptics.
Changamoto ziko mingi, mpaka wakati nilikuwa naanzia huko kwa mto kufanya hiyo kazi, watu wengine walikuwa wanaona mimi kama nimekuwa mwenda wazimu. Walikuwa wanaona sitafaulu. Wengine wanakuja na discouragement, wananiambia hiyo kazi haitaenda bali. Mambo mengine inakuaga mpaka waya, nilikuwa nataka kwenda na nunua huko kwa hardware. That is the binding yenye huaga mimi natumia. Sasa ukienda kununua huko unaambiwa hakuna, bado zinawezekana kuwa ziko. Sasa wanajua umeanzia hiyo mambo ya stima.
What does this makeshift generator consist of, and how exactly did this young entrepreneur get the capital from?
Nimetumia waste pipe, and also bicycle rim, and nimetumia turbine and modification generator. That is 6,000 zenye huwa nilitumia. Nilikuwa saving kidogo, juu nilikuwa na zugura zenye nilikuwa na vuga. Sasa nilikuwa nauza zugura 500, naenda kibarua ya kuchunga kahawa hivyo. Sasa naenda napata 1,000, nakuja nanunua waste pipe moja, shilingi 700, hivyo hadi nikafikiza wakati nilikuwa nilifika nikajenerate hiyo power.
Some entrepreneurs are motivated by challenges which others would shy away from.
Mwanzoni mimi stima hata nikitoka huko kwa mto, mimi nilikuwa natoa hiyo stima kwanza itusaidie huku nyumbani. Huku tulikuwa tunaenda hasara sana juu ya mafuta ya taa. Tulikuwa tunatumia hii mataa kubwa. Saa pa 2 days tulikuwa kama tunatumia lita 2. Kila siku tulikuwa tunatumia lita 1 ya mafuta taa. Kiangalia bei ya mafuta taa ilikuwa inaenda kama 100 per liter. Sasa nikaona tunaenda gharama kubwa sana. Sasa mpaka wakati niligenerate hiyo power kutoka kwa mto, sasa watu walianzia kuingia kuona ama inaona TV bado ama ina charge simu. Sasa wakati waliona hiyo mambo hiyo stima inafanya, ndivyo walikuja akaniambia manaweza yake stima. Sasa nikawaambia hiyo kuna gharama watakuwa natoa pesa kama za waya na post juu siwezi wapelekea. Ili wao wanalipa pesa za maintenance, hiyo tunasaidiana na wao per month. Hiyo mashine inatakiwa inataka maintenance kama ya kununua belt hivyo.
John is an entrepreneur who knows the ins and outs of his trade. He has developed methods of transferring his skills to others.
Kwanza nikimpelekea stima ya kuna agreements zenye zinakuanga. First ni mambo ya wiring. Sasa nikitaka kuletea stima, mambo ya wiring kwanza tunaongea na yeye, tunaandikania naye, tunakuwa na agreement ya kwamba mimi nitakufanyia wiring. Ili hata hiyo stima ikikuja ikuwe na any problem itafanya mimi utanilaumu mimi mwenyewe. Second, kuna post zenye zinakuaga kutoka kwangu mpaka that is like 1 km zinaweza kuwa like the 10 post. Sasa per post inakuanga inatoka 700. So hiyo 700 nitakuwa nimekungalamu, lakini hautakata miti yako sasa. Mimi nitakubaia post. Second, kuna wire like that we may say that is like it is that kg of wire. Sasa nitaenda ninunue za binding zenye huaga natumia. Maybe zinaweza kuwa per kg na huaga inatoka 200. Sasa itakuwa like maybe 6,000 that way. Sasa hapa kwa 6,000 bado utaongeza 4,000 zenye za watu wale nitajiri waje wafanye hiyo kazi. So nikikwambia pesa zenye utakuwa unatoa za waya, kuna za post, za waya, and second kuna za hiyo kazi sasa. Za monthly that is 100. Kuna watu ninafanya training na wafanyia training sasa wenye walitoka last year form 4 na this year wenye wametoka form 4. Niwaambia wao wanakuja training free of charge. Sasa tunakuwa tunapata post na wao, kuweka waya, kutengeneza machine venye natengeneza, huwa na wavuliza. Like now niko na that is 8 people sasa wenye they are trained. Sasa mpaka nikienda bali nikae mwaka mmoja, bado project bado itakuwa inaendelea.
Your vision should be bigger than what you can actually see. What you envision is what you get. Entrepreneurs are encouraged to look beyond their eyes to see the possibilities.
Next year, sasa ikielea that is 2030, already mimi naona kama huko nimefika bado. I am now targeting about the vision 2050. Sasa kwenye sasa bado niko na project ya pili. Kuna project nyingine huwa nataka motorbike ziwe zinatumia stima. And it is possible juu iko halfway. Bado itamalizika. Bado kuna hii project nyingine ya pili yenye nimeanzia ambayo inatumia machine, motor ambayo inatumia kugenerate power. Na sijaiona hata sijaipata mtu akigenerate power na motor ambayo ina generate drivers na motor sasa.
Innovations that help solve our everyday problems usually get recognition, like in John's case.
Ningetaka kuwashukuru watu wa Netfad ambao walikuja huku nyumbani kwangu na wakakuja wakaona kazi yenye nimefanya na wakaorganize that is 1 million with Margaret Kenyatta ambaye alinipea hiyo zawadi ambayo ilikuwa imepatiwa na watu wa Netfad. Sasa naonelea project yangu itaendelea. I will be having that is more than 20 project some years to come. Juu sasa hizo pesa amenipea bado mpaka naenda training huko kwa CIC ambapo nitatrainiwa vyenye kiwaga nitakuwa naendelea na hii kazi yangu ya stima mpaka vyenye nitafikiza kiwango ambayo nitakuwa natoa stima, like that is 100 kVA. Watu wenye ambao wako na project ama mwingine anataka kuanzia project, hebu niseme kama kuna watu wanasaidia, kuna funding, maybe like the net fund yenye huaga watu wana conserve the environment. Sasa ikiwa project yako huwa ina conserve environment, huwa unaweza faidika na hiyo mambo ya kupewa pesa za kuendelea na project yako. That is 22 years right now, and mimi ni kijana bado hata sijaoa. Hebu niseme ya kwamba kuna wao ambao wako huko bara ama wako nyumbani bado tu wanategemea waajiriwe. Hebu niseme ya kwamba hawa vijana maybe huaga wanasema ati bado wanangojea kazi kwa serikali, sasa wapewe pesa kwa serikali. Hebu niwaambie kwamba hakuna mtu atakuajiri, bado wewe mwenyewe unaweza jiajiri. Maybe kama uko na project yenye uko nayo uanzie, wewe bado umejiajiri. Kuna wao ambao huaga wamesoma mpaka wameenda mbali sana, they have like 20 degrees, but what they have normally it is only theory, they don't have the practical. But kwa Kenya sasa mpaka tunataka watu ambao wako na practical. Sasa vyenye wanafanya tunaona, hiyo mambo ya kuabua tunataka mambo ya theory. Mtu anasema hivi na hawezi fanya hivi. Ndio kuna wao vijana wako na huko, wengine mpaka hawezi endelea, hawana pesa ama hana chochote. Lakini nataka kuambia kwamba hakuna kazi imewekwa pale ya mtu aende ajiriwe. Hata ingekuwa hata mimi ningeenda, but kuna hiyo kazi unaweza create wewe mwenyewe mpaka uweze kuajiri wale wengine.
If you have any comments on tonight's Entrepreneur, leave a comment on our Facebook page, KTN The Entrepreneur, or reach us on our Twitter handle, KTN The Entrepreneur.